Hello students. In a previous video we looked at how we can calculate the mean, the median, the mode and the range very quickly using built-in functions or some basic formulas. And this is replicating the work that we've been doing in statistics in year 7. The next thing I want to look at here is how to do a frequency table. This is going to be really important potentially for doing graphs in just a moment. But there's no quick way to do a frequency. Well, there is. There's a quick way and there's a slightly longer way. And it's going to depend on, I guess, the time you want to put into it and possibly the data set that you're using. Now, for this small data set, there's only 30 values. It isn't going to take all that long to do a traditional frequency table. Whereas setting up the calculations to do it will make it much more automated, but probably will take just as long as doing it the sort of longer longhand way, if you like. But if I had a much larger data set, 50, 100,000 or more pieces of data, I'm certainly going to want to do the formula way. So I'm going to demonstrate both ways here. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to do this a little bit longhand, if you like. And I'll do a separate video that's very quickly going to demonstrate how to do exactly the same thing, but with some formulas. So the first thing I'm going to want for a frequency table, of course, is a heading. So let's write that in. Okay, and then my first column. So I've given my frequency table a heading. My first column is going to be the values that are possible. And again, this is something that we're going to automate in a moment, but for now we can clearly and easily see that they start with the value 8 and they go up to the value 12. So I'm just going to put those in manually at the moment. Whoops, there you go. So we've got 5 different sets of potential values that could be in our frequency table. Now, in your book, what you would do is a tally. So you'd go through each of these. As you find a 10, you'd put a mark next to it, 11, put a mark next, and so on, and count them at the end to get your frequency. You can't really do that in Excel. So what I'm going to do is, if I start with the value 1, I'm going to put a 1 next to the 10. The second value is an 11, so I'm going to put a 1 there. The third value down is another 10. So instead of putting a little mark, I'm literally going to change that value. So it was 1, it's now 2. So I'm doing the math myself. 12 goes in here, the first one. I'm back to 10 for another one. So that now becomes the value 3. And we keep going until we have gone through all of our 30 data points. Now I'm going to quickly jump through the power of editing to have my frequency table filled in because it's kind of boring sitting there watching me do that. So here I have my frequencies worked out. I've gone through all 30 and I've got my frequency totals here. Now, the first check I've always said to my class is just to make sure we haven't missed one. Let's make sure that these frequencies add up to the number of data points that we have. In this case, we have 30 data points. So using an equation that we learned earlier or a formula, we can simply add these frequencies up and we should get the value 30. So if we use the sum formula or sum function, sorry, we add up that range of values, we should get the total 30. And that helps us to confirm that we probably haven't missed one. So that is how you can make a frequency table very quickly, but still using a bit of a manual process, okay? I said I'm going to do another video in just a moment where I'm going to make exactly the same frequency table, or at least get the same frequency values by using some formulas. And again, it might be a little bit overkill for a small data set like this, but it is a good skill to learn, especially if you want to push your knowledge of using Excel just that little bit more. But if you're happy doing it this way for our work, especially at the moment, then you are more than welcome just to do it the way I demonstrated. This frequency table is basically ready now to make a graph from.